3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point, you realized you were married into crazy.
And that's what our podcast is all about. We offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as we unpack this crazy thing called marriage.
So sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
All right, let's go.
Coach, just want to take a moment just to tell you how grateful I am, how impacted my life has been this past month, just diving into these coaching sessions with you, and just your style has been phenomenal in helping me to really see myself for who I am and to accept that and to be able to walk in that and know that I am who I am for a reason. And I am just super grateful, super thankful just for you pouring into me and pulling things out of me that I knew were there, but just to know how to tap into them. And so I'm super grateful for the personal coaching. I'm looking forward to continuing in our coaching sessions, and I can't wait to see where this journey takes me. But definitely this past month has been the most transformational in my life, and I am super grateful and thankful to have you coaching me.
Welcome to episode 119 of the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey.
I'm Lovey.
I'm Lovey. Will the real Lovey please stand up?
And I'm Snooks.
She's always looking for a way to mess me up.
No, I'm not.
So want to thank you. She's feeling a little spicy this evening, so we want to thank everybody here. So this should be a good show. So as we said, this is episode 119. You could be in so many different places, but we're thankful that you've chosen to, get your ear hustle on with us. Of course, we're a couple that's been married close to 24 years.
Yep. We are 2 weeks out?
2 weeks out from our 24-year anniversary. We met on what I call a blind date, but she says we were bamboozled. We were tricked into meeting each other. And then she proceeded to tell everybody that I was a nerd and not her type and can't figure out why people thought we should meet. And we were engaged 4 months later.
Yeah, but I didn't proceed to tell everyone that. He loves to say that.
Told everybody.
Our meet-iversary is what? Isn't it tomorrow?
December 16th.
Yeah. So the day the podcast comes out.
Right. So when you're hearing this, if you listen to this on Wednesday, December 16th, it is our 25-year 25-year anniversary from the day that we met.
Wow.
On December 16th. So welcome. No, so it's all about, and the things that we've gone through, the trials and tribulations. Go back and listen to the archive. You listen to our very first several podcasts. You hear about how I was stabbed by her ex-boyfriend and 2 open heart surgeries and nearly died. And I had to walk through snow 15 miles, all of that. So you'll hear all that. But in the meantime, we're going to catch you up to what we've been doing recently. And this weekend, we had a date night.
Oh, man, we had a date night on Saturday. So, it's holiday season. And once a year for the last few years, Lovey would take me to see some type of holiday play or whatever. I love the Nutcracker. So we would go and we go out on a date. With COVID, obviously, you can't do that. But we were able to do a concert at home, Dave Cause and Friends, Dave Cause Holiday Concert and Friends, Jonathan Butler, Peter White.
I don't remember the other people's names.
Kenny Lattimore was there, Michael Lighting, and Rebecca Jade.
Oh, good job.
Yeah.
Can't remember, what's the pianist's name?
Oh, Brian Simmons.
I don't remember either. And see, it's crazy because Dave Cause had a completely different lineup originally scheduled.
Well, there's a couple that he added in because David Benoit was supposed to be there. Richard Elliott was also supposed to be there along with Rick Braun. But all 3 of them had COVID. So They were not able to come. So he was able to call on some friends, some additional friends, I should say. And they proceeded to do the concert, and it was streamed on TV, and Lovey and I had dinner and dessert, and our house is totally decorated because Christmas is my absolute favorite holiday. and we danced around with our Christmas lights and everything, the fireplace. We had a ball. It was so
We acted a
great.
fool. We sat there,
I
got
didn't
lovey
act a
dovey.
fool.
She did, because
I
then there
did
was the
not.
pianist. So Dave Cause, they did this music of Charlie
Oh,
Brown. And so when the music of Charlie Brown came on, we just watched Charlie
we
Brown
had
last
just
week.
watched Charlie Brown.
And so just so you know, if you don't know this, we do 25 days of Christmas every single year.
Mhm.
Yes, we are corny as all get up.
Well, it's not
But
corny.
it makes our lives fun.
Yeah, and our daughters are still into it too because they're like, what movie are we watching tonight? So
We're gonna watch a movie tonight. So
yeah,
25 days leading up to Christmas, we
watch
watch
some
something.
type of Christmas
It could be a
something,
30-minute cartoon to a hour and a
hour and a
half,
half movie or whatever,
but all 25
a
days.
Christmas theme. But go ahead, sorry.
No, I was gonna say, so we acted a little corny. So we were like, hey, do the Charlie Brown dance. So we jumped up, and it was just us because the kids were gone, and we started dancing like the characters you see on Peanuts on the Charlie Brown Christmas.
Yep.
And we had a good time.
When
It was fun.
Schroeder's playing the piano, they're on the stage and they're dancing, and
Yeah,
so
that one guy that's doing all that. It was hilarious.
it was fun. We had a good time. It was so nice.
Yeah, don't take yourself so seriously that you can't just have moments like that where you're just having fun. And it's just the two of you, letting your hair down, being very vulnerable, and just having fun. So that's getting you up to snuff on where we're at, what we've done recently. But we recognize what time of year this is. Like she said, this is Christmas, which means that
New Year's coming right around the corner. And typically, sorry, I'm just all taking over.
Go ahead.
And typically New Year's means, a lot of people, they want to set new goals and they have the resolutions. So I'm going into 2021 and we're just going to take off running, and they do all that kind of stuff.
Right. So we make plans, right? Everyone's ready to, especially this year, turn the corner on 2020.
Yeah.
And try and do something new and different, and really set 2021 apart from this crazy year that we've had with COVID and elections and just so much craziness. There's been a lot of loss, but there've been some pretty amazing things that have taken place as well. Whenever there's adversity, there's always going to be some form of solution that goes along with that. And there have been some amazing solutions, like Dave Cause. There are more streaming events now than ever before. And people are finding that there's a variety of different ways to create revenue. We're coaching. We have clients all over the world. I've got clients that I speak to over in France and across the United States. And so that didn't happen prior to 2020.
Yeah. It's so funny. It's like we're so separated as far as physically, the physical touch. We don't have the ability to do that, but we do have the ability to see our family. I think more older, how like the kids would tease me and I would tease my mom about technology. So we have more older people learning about technology and really getting into it now, that with the Zoom and all the things that they're doing online, So even for ourselves, typically on some Sundays after church, we would have church dinner, fellowship and stuff. And because of we had our what is that, dinner on Blanc? It was a couple months ago.
All right. Date night.
Yeah. So I kind of introduced that to our church. I'm like, hey, because we do church on Zoom. I'm like, we should do something like that with the church. And they love the idea. And so this Sunday after we had service, we did our church dinner fellowship on Zoom. And we got to see a lot of people, just really sit and chit chat and just have fun. And so our pastor, he was like, okay, we're going to play some games. And of course, we did a lot of Bible trivia. And they were like, girl, you know a lot of stuff. I was like, yeah, I do. I have my Google ready.
Cheating.
They didn't see that, but but it was a lot of fun. So we found new and inventive ways to be able to stay connected with other people, even though we cannot physically touch them. I'm ready for COVID to be over because I miss my mom. I don't get to go see her as much as I want to. I'm a mama's girl at heart,
through and through.
through and through. And the last time I saw her, I almost cried because I got to hug her, but trying to protect our parents and and keep them safe, I typically stay away more just because of the environment where I work. I'm more exposed than Lovey is, and I work in a prison, and right now it's like where we're at, we're starting to have an influx of cases are rising. It's like now it's hitting us. And so I'm like, I have to stay extra careful. We're testing all the time and everything. So I don't get to, I try to stay home more.
And it's important that you recognize that even though we're talking about things that we've done recently, we're trying to provide nuggets as we go in story form, almost like a parable type thing. But it relates to our relationships, and that we should be willing to try new and different things. Just because something has been done a certain way for X amount of time doesn't mean it has to be done that way all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so be careful out there. I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there that think, oh, COVID, it's not that big a deal. It's just like the flu. I didn't even get a chance to tell you this, but I got a phone call today. One of my old doctors that I used to call on in a city, really good family. I've known him, his wife for umpteen years. I got a phone call today that this Dr. Blesingame actually passed away as a result of complications due to COVID.
Wow.
I don't know how he contracted it. I don't know if it was because he was exposed by a patient or if it was, something else. But I do know that he had passed away, as a matter of fact, on our son's birthday, December 3rd.
Wow.
So I got that phone call today. And this is a gentleman, first line responder, whose entire life has been dedicated to serving his community. And he passed away as a result of COVID. So it's real, folks. Just because you may not have been exposed directly or you don't know anybody personally, don't take it lightly, because that thing will show up on your doorstep and change the trajectory of your entire life. So do take it serious.
Yeah.
But with us only having 2 weeks left in the year, everyone's making plans for 2021. And so as you're making these plans and you're building out your vision boards and creating new mantras, because I'm in the process of doing that as well. I'm writing down my values and trying to figure out, okay, well, what's aligned with my values moving forward in 2021. So that way, the things that I do, the priorities, always align to your values. What you value most will dictate what you do on a daily basis. You can talk about how, I want to be fit. Well, if it's not, if living a fit lifestyle isn't truly part of your value system, you can talk about being fit as you're sitting on the couch eating a tub of ice cream and not working out. And when I say working out, it doesn't mean it has to be something crazy. It could be something that you love. I want to get back out on the court and play some more pickleball.
I drove by the court today and I was telling Kiki, I was like, man, we haven't been out there in so long, but it's so cold.
It's cold, but we can get out there and still get it done before it starts really raining.
It's cold.
But it could just be something fun.
Understand.
But I mean, I'm not going to go down that path of just talking about fitness, but is it really truly part of your value system? So as you're developing your values and you're writing down what you want to accomplish and make sure they're aligned with your values so you can truly stick with them, there's things that we recommend that you might want to consider as you're planning out for 2021. One of which, when it comes to relationships, is first and foremost to really ask yourself, how crazy is my relationship? And crazy, of course, it's an acronym. When we say married into crazy, crazy stands for something.
Compassion, real, accountable, zealous, and yielding.
And each one of those, we have a checklist that we've created that's available free as a resource on our website, which is marriedintocrazy.com. Go to our first page. You can see a little orange button there that says, you deserve a 5-star rated marriage. Click that button, and then there's a very short webinar that we do talking about the workshop that we do, the free workshop that we offer every single month. This month, it's going to be the day after Christmas. So again, it's a Christmas gift from us that's absolutely free. But when you go and watch that webinar, and you'll see there, it's a click here for a free tool. I think it's called the free audit tool. But when you click on that, you're automatically going to get an email with this free tool that we're talking about. And this audit tool is going to give you a ranking or a checklist, if you will, for each one of those components: compassionate, real, accountable, zealous, and yielding. It'll go from needs improvement all the way up to phenomenal. And really do an audit for yourself. Don't sit there and rate your spouse or your loved one. Rate yourself. It'd be nice if both of you download it. Rate yourself. Okay, compassionate. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm good. Your spouse might say, "Oh, I'm phenomenal at this." But then you might think that, oh, okay, well, keeping it real. Okay, well, I need improvement. Do that little checklist to kind of do an audit, if you will, on where you're at in being crazy. And so when you're doing that, that's going to give you a baseline to know what you might want to work on to make 2021 the craziest year ever when it comes to your relationship.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so think about your goals. And when you're developing your the board, the vision board, add some values to that vision board. It's nice to put pictures on there that say, that have like, the big house, the ring, the car, the vacations, all these things that you really want to accomplish and do, the business, but also attach some values. The word fitness, if that's one of your values, the word fiscally responsible. So, whatever those values are, when you sit down and figure out what's most important to you to prioritize, it's nice to have those words on there as well, because then it's those values that ultimately will, if they're aligned well with the things you want, as long as you stick to your values, it'll make it that much easier or less difficult to acquire those things that you're putting on your vision board. So as you're writing that all out, we want you to think about this other thing. You may or may not have heard of a SWOT analysis.
So I never heard of a SWOT analysis. And it's just funny, like Lovey and I were on the same page regarding what we wanted to talk about. I was like, oh, it's New Year's coming up. Let's talk about some goals and where we want to be and how we want to move, and just try to be encouraging and use the audit tool, because rate ourselves on how crazy we are and take that into the new year, 2021. And he was like, hey, so let's do a SWOT analysis. And I was like, SWOT? And I'm like, you want to SWAT me?
I do. On the bottom, girl.
So SWOT is actually an acronym. I had to look it up, and it's an acronym for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
And so how would that play out when we're looking at SWOT? Let's go one by one, each of these. And as you're laying out your vision board and creating these goals for next year, how would we use the SWOT analysis as an overlay?
Well, okay, so
let's focus on S.
Oh, okay. So SWOT is SWOT. S is your strengths. So what are you in regards to talk? We'll deal with marriage, right?
Right.
Okay. So what are your strengths in marriage? I think that's something that we should probably talk about together. You could do it on your own, but I feel like it would be better if the two of you sat down and, okay, what are our strengths in marriage? Well, maybe we're great at communicating, maybe our strength is that, I won't say maybe, for us, I want to say, I think our main strength is our faith. We put the Lord first before everything. In the mornings when we get up, before either one of us leaves the house, we pray together. If you're asleep, I'm like, okay, I'm out. I'll wake you, or you're laying there, you'll wake me. And so that's one of our major strengths. We pray together. I think that another strength is that we have fun together. That's so important. I think that's key. Lovey kind of said it earlier a little. Don't take yourself so seriously that you can't have fun and you can't make fun of yourselves, or you can't joke around, or I don't want to be in a relationship where we're just so stiff-necked and rigid with everything. I'm gonna be honest with you, Lovey was kind of he had to learn how to loosen up a little bit when we first got together. I was like, not that he didn't laugh or whatever, but I don't know if it was the military or whatever, but I said whatever a lot, sorry. He never slouches. He doesn't look relaxed. He always looks like he's just prim and proper, and his back is straight, and he stands up at attention. And I'm like, can you relax a little bit? Relax your stance. Don't just wiggle your arms, loosen up some. But that's just how he is. And he does now. He slouches a little bit more, but
that's due to age.
But anyway, that's one of I think our strength. We have a great time together. We're like we said, we're best friends, and we just enjoy each other's company. Not all the time though, because I'm gonna tell you, as much as I enjoy his company, there are times I'm like, if he don't leave me alone. And I know he feels the same way, because when I want to come in and I want to sit on his lap and mess around or whatever, and he's like, babe, I got stuff to do.
It's true, but I agree with you in the respect that it should be done together. This is something that if you're doing your vision boards, all that stuff individually, that's fine. But when it comes to the SWOT analysis for your relationship, it really should be done together because, like Snook said, talk about your SWOT as a couple. So when we move on to weaknesses, then you start to actually be very, very transparent and real, right? That second letter in crazy, real about, and be honest, not brutally honest, but honest about where our weaknesses. What are the things? I can tell you right now, being completely transparent, we have good sex, but we don't have it as often as I would like because we're tired all the time.
It's just good. It's not phenomenal.
It's great.
And great.
It's great. It's great.
Like, okay.
No, but it's one of those things where I think that's a weakness or potentially an area of opportunity. And sometimes your weakness can be an area of opportunity that we're going to get into next. But the weakness is that something that when you first get married, it's like, oh, all the time, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a week. Then it's like, oh, okay, every now and then on the weekend, it's like it's a sex fest. And then the kids come along, and then life, and then you're laughing because you remember when we put
sex fest. That's what I'm laughing at. I'm like, what?
Do you remember when we pulled the mattress in the living room?
You gonna tell all our business?
I'm gonna tell it all.
That's so funny.
We married. It was sanctified. But it's one of those things where, but a weakness might be that, or it might be that that somebody's too serious all the time.
In the evaluating my own individual weakness, like how it affects, I think it affects our marriage is a lot of times when I come home, I'm a hermit. I just want to just sit up in my room, and not that I don't want to interact with my family. I don't want to take it like that. But once I'm home, and I just want to, and Lovey knows, I'm almost done. I'm like, oh, let me cook. Let me do all the stuff I need to do. Please don't ask me to do anything else because I almost don't have nothing for you. And that presents a problem when there are things that we need to do as a couple. I sometimes begrudgingly do it, and Lovey has to almost just like drag me along at times. And there are times when I'm like, I'm tired. I don't want to do that. And it can cause
Wait, are we still talking about sex?
Really?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
There are times that, that can cause an argument when there are things that need to be done. And I'm just like, I just can't. Not that I can't. I just don't want to, because I tend to, like I said, be a hermit, and I just want to change my clothes, do all the stuff I need to do real quick. And I need the rest of the evening to myself so I can read.
I swear we're still talking about sex, but okay. Okay, so then moving on.
So silly.
The next one
so
is.
you don't have none?
What?
No weaknesses?
I got no weaknesses, girl.
Wow.
I got none.
Then there you have it, folks. That's his weakness. He doesn't know how to tell the truth.
My arrogance.
No.
No, but no, I mean, we do. I mean, my weakness is that I don't listen. I'm so action oriented.
As far as that could affect
absolutely.
the relationship.
Absolutely. It's because I want things done my way.
Yes.
I like things done a certain way.
He's a big baby.
In my way, and I will throw a tantrum in a heartbeat. But it's one of those, it's a weakness, and it's something but it is also an area of opportunity. But it's that thing that, and it's not just that. When it comes to our relationship, it's time management. It's having enough compassion. I know that compassion is an area that I need to work on, to where my weakness is that I don't always see things from the other person's point of view. And that's that empathy piece. It's something that I'm consistently been working on for 25 years now, and I'm still working on it. So look, hey, if y'all have been working on something for 25 years, it's not too late.
Keep working.
Keep working. Get this checklist. I'm running through it as well.
Funny.
And then you have opportunities, right? So SWOT, SWOT. O is for opportunities. So you want to jump into that?
No, you go first this time.
Okay, so opportunities is just like, so when you take a look at your relationship, where are your opportunities for growth? If you both recognize that, I think it could be travel. I think we should go more places, do more things, together as a couple. Or it might be like, there's an opportunity to where I want to learn more about, I want to get more invested in my job. And if somebody says that, or I want to go for another promotion, is there an opportunity for you to support your spouse that much more so they can do that? Like a perfect example is like Snooks is this upcoming year, 2021. The goal is for her to achieve her master or start her master's program. And so what we want to do is that requires me to pick up some slack. What?
Not quit my job?
I
thought that was an opportunity. What's up?
Yeah, you got opportunity for jokes. But it's one of those things where, so I have to find ways, opportunities to really support her and make sure that she has no other worries outside of either the job or pursuing her master's degree. And when she does that, when she wants to become a full-fledged marriage and life, was it marriage and family therapist. And in doing it, there's going to be some clinical rotations, clinical work that she's going to have to do to where she won't be able to work. And so I have to make sure that, we really grind to the point where we get things done. So there's an opportunity for me knowing what's in front of us. The opportunity is to start building that foundation, that nest egg or what have you, to support her.
I was going to say, and that's the opportunity. And that's a part of my opportunity also, because knowing that I'm going to go back to school and I may decide, well, I don't want to go to work and go to school at the same time. There are things that we have to put in place in order for that to happen. We had that opportunity when I first went to school. I didn't work. I was off from work for almost 7 years. And so went back to work. So now I don't want to put undue stress on Levy. So the opportunity is, okay, now we're going to sit down together and we're going to really tackle every single thing as far as financials, look at every list. Okay, we're just going to get rid of that. Okay, well, we're safe for that, or whatever it is. We'll sit and itemize everything so that he doesn't feel the undue stress and the burden of making sure he's taking care of the family. I mean, not that he can't, because he's always done that. But if I decide, like I said, if I want to not work, there's that opportunity there. And we have talked about it. We discussed it. We've outlined it. We've done everything. So we make those decisions together.
And there may be opportunities where you think, okay, you know what? We're just not really jiving. We're not really clicking like we used to. So there might be an opportunity for therapy, for coaching. There might be an opportunity where it's like, you know what? Snicks and Levy, I love their podcast. And I like some of the nuggets that they're offering. And I really want to have that discovery call with them, which you could do on our website for absolutely free for 15 minutes. But, go to our coaching page. But you might want to see a therapist. You might think you need to go see someone, that's in your medical network. Whatever that opportunity may be that you both agree upon, then you pursue it. You write that down and you think, okay, this is an opportunity for us to actually pursue in 2021.
Yeah, to opportunity to be better, to become better partners, maybe better communicators, better friends, just be better together, and an opportunity to grow your relationship as opposed to it being torn down or whatever. People are still really stressed out, and it feels like stress levels are going back up as we're dealing with the whole COVID rise. And some states are being shut down, and you're talking about finances that are affected, businesses that are closing, people might be laid off, and or that whole work at home again thing, where some folks did not get along and they weren't able to do that well. So
yeah. So that brings us to threat.
That's a threat.
Yeah, the threat might be, okay, here we go. We're quarantined again, and we're back at home. We got the stay-at-home orders, and we didn't quite master the operating under the same roof for as many hours as we did. And so here we go. It's like the sequel to the horror story that was the first one.
Or, the threat of losing some income. How are we going to maintain and, financial instability, because everything fluctuates. We were in Vegas, what was it, end of October? And we went to a restaurant. We actually went to a couple of restaurants, and at two different restaurants, both of our servers told us that was their first week or couple days back at work, where they were able to come back to work because people were able to go in and eat. And so they had a job where they can service people,
right. And think about childcare. Our daughter's going into childcare and in January, but it's one of those things where you have so many people, and I have so many colleagues that are just struggling because their kids are still doing, distance learning. You have to work, you have to go to work, and some jobs are now deeming their employees essential, whereas they might not have been that first go round, but they have to go to work, and yet their kids are going to be at home, and they're trying to figure that out. So there's a variety of different threats that could be approaching, and it's by taking the time to figure out your threat, it will help you really come up with solutions down the road. Really taking the time to try and figure out, okay, what are going to be the threats this upcoming year? What can I anticipate? The challenge is, and I can't remember the name of the study. There was a study done a number of years ago, and I have it actually on my voicemail, and I told myself it and I never wrote it down. It's on my phone still. But there was a study that was done regarding businesses, that there were businesses that identified, it was in the Fortune 500, but there were businesses that clearly identified where the threats to their business model were going to come from in the next 5 to 10 years. And even though they identified those threats, more than half of them failed to create a policy, a plan, or some form of action to really stonewall or make sure that that threat didn't affect them. Some of the businesses that were on that list were companies like Blockbuster. They saw the threats, they knew what was coming, but they didn't think it, we'll worry about it when it actually gets here. We're not going to head it off at the pass. And as we all know, there's a lot of businesses that were the main things that are no longer around.
Yeah, there were staples that, for a while.
Absolutely. And same thing happens in our relationships, where you can identify threats like, okay, you know what? We married. I don't got to worry about cooking. I don't got to worry about looking nice. I don't got to worry about, caring about them. I can say what I want to say. I can do what I want to do. Those are extremes, but there's a variety of things that can end up being a threat that we don't take serious. And then when all of a sudden there's trouble in paradise, you wonder what happened. I knew this was going to happen. Why didn't I prepare, or what have you? And so we're saying, identify those threats and then create a plan and you do it together. Think about what could threaten our relationship. What are the things that, as far-fetched and as wild as they may seem, what are the things that would, create some challenges within our relationship?
Yeah. And, let's just be honest. It's not always infidelity.
Right.
A lot of people think that, it's this person cheated or what have you. That's not always the case. And we have to take this. These are very different times, and, take these things very seriously. You start seeing patterns that are created, and you're arguing about whatever it is that you may be arguing about, that things that didn't bother you before, now they're bothering you constantly. All right, it's time to take stock. We need to stop right now. Let's create an action plan so that we can get this thing back on the road the right way. We got to make some U-turns or do some different things. So
Yep, absolutely. So that's what a SWOT analysis is. And if you do this together, it can make a huge difference for your relationship and make a huge difference for 2021. You deserve to have an amazing year after this crazy year that we just had. Now, I'll be honest with you, 2020 to me was absolutely amazing for our family. There were a variety of things that transpired in 2020 that I am super thankful for, super grateful for, that I believe, and that'll be another podcast when we'll talk about the things reflecting upon this past year and, what we're thankful for. That might be the last podcast of the year where we go over that. So I'll save that for then. But 2021 deserves to have your absolute best. But you know what? It doesn't happen without planning. And I think that by utilizing that free tool that we offer on our website, you sitting down, figuring out your values, and then using the SWOT analysis as an overlay as a couple, it's going to give you a solid foundation, a great roadmap, if you will, to what can be accomplished in this upcoming year.
I agree with that.
So with that said, you have anything else?
No, I think we did pretty well.
Okay. Well, in that case, what I want to do is make sure that we continue our tradition of using the I Can for couples. And that's focusing on the affirmations that are available to you. There's 40 different affirmations in every one of these cans. It's a fun little tool where you can just pick a little something to focus on for the week or the day or what have you.
And this can be one of the action plans too. If you find yourself having, how do I say this? If you find yourself with having a lack of something nice to say or do for your spouse, get an I can, because the affirmations, they're action oriented, and it also will give you some ideas.
Right. It's under $10. This thing is very well constructed. We used to have this in an old company that I used to be the CEO of, and it was built around affirmations for children, as well as couples. And we had one that was for devotionals, just really nice. But these are the ones that we held on to once we actually dissolved the company. It's a nice little tool that can really help with relationships. And it's the little things that add up. So you pick these little affirmations. There's 40 of them, like we said.
Mine says, I can send flowers just because.
Oh, send me some flowers.
I will, with my name on them.
Mine says, I can love my partner unconditionally. So you're thinking, they always say these, they repeat. Well, yeah, because we're past 40 days. So you do these, you could do it for.
They're good enough to where you can do it over and over again.
Absolutely.
They never get old.
These are the little things that you want to do repetitively. Look, people think that success are these big, grandiose gestures, these major steps that you take, but they're not. Success is nothing. And I'm talking about success in business, success in love, success in marriage, success in fitness. It's not these huge, grand steps that you take. They're little itty bitty steps that you take consistently over and over and over again. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, but guess what? You got to take another step and another step. And as small as those steps are, it's the repetition, it's the consistency of those steps that get you to the destination. Same thing with the I Can. Go to the website. There's 2 stores on our website, marriedandcrazy.com. You're going to find one that says shop. The shop is just some podcast t-shirts as well as the I Can. And then you have our premium store. And it says premium store, I believe. And on that premium store is where we have the full line of the Married into Crazy gear that you can get and share with each other. So like we do every single podcast, and until further notice, we're going to continue this. We're going to spend the last 8 minutes and 46 seconds in silence. And it's for social justice. You know, a lot of people, we haven't said his name very often. And the reason why we haven't said George Floyd's name, it's not because of the controversy. It's just that his isn't the only name. Mm-hmm. There's so many names that should be spoken as examples of the need for social justice in our country, truly across the world. But we're focused on the United States. And it was 8 minutes and 46 seconds that George Floyd was denied the opportunity, denied his freedom to the point where he was choked out. Now, this isn't an argument about his him being a Boy Scout or an argument about him not being deservedly being taken into custody for what he was doing. It's about being summarily executed in the streets without due process, which is granted to each and every citizen of the United States according to our Constitution. So we recognize 8 minutes and 46 seconds of silence for us to reflect on how we can be better citizens, how we can actually think about what can we do in our community to make it better, so that way everyone is afforded the rights and the guarantees under our Constitution, and just sharing love. You know, Christ gave us the ultimate order, and that was to love thy neighbor. And take 8 minutes and 46 seconds to think about, how can I be a better neighbor, a brother, a better sister, a better spouse, a better child, better citizen. So with that said, until the next time, be blessed.
Bye-bye.